Hello and welcome to Radio Zer0, show number 31. I'm your host, Mike Lesko, also known as Gamer0, and I'd like to welcome you to the show. We've got a lot of things going on. It's spring, baseball season. The Wizards of the Coast softball team has its first game tonight, so if you see me in future episodes with a cast on my leg or an arm in a sling, you can probably guess what happened. Horrible softball injury. But in addition to that, we also have a lot of things going on in gaming. We have 4th edition coming up in early June, and that's really something big that a lot of people are talking about and a lot of excitement surrounding that. On the Magic front, we have Magic Online releasing, Magic Online 3 releasing right now, like right this minute. I have an interview today with Wollpert where he gives us up-to-the-minute news on where it stands and what they're trying to do to get that up and stable and going forward. So that's kind of an exciting time there. We also have the Shadowmage release coming up for Magic on paper. And Richard Baker, who's one of the designers of 4th edition, sits down with Blue to talk about his new book, Shadowmage, and what that means for the Forgotten Realm and 4th edition and all that sort of stuff. So it's really kind of interesting things. So this should be a good episode. Don't want to miss it. Let's get right to it.
I'm here today with Richard Baker, and he's here to talk to me about his new book, Shadowmage, which is the first in the new trilogy of Blades of the Moonsea. So, Richard, welcome to the show.
Well, thanks for having me. It's great to be here.
Cool. What is your actual job title here at Wizards?
I am a senior game designer in the role-playing R&D department.
And also an author.
And yes, the novel writing is something I do in my evenings and weekends.
What can you tell us about Shadowmage?
Well, Shadowmage is the first book in a new series. The series is called Blades of the Moonsea. This is a trilogy that is set entirely within the new timeline of the Forgotten Realms. We have advanced the timeline by 100 years. We're telling a whole new set of stories about this fantasy world.
What inspires you to pick a family or pick characters on such a smaller scope and inspire you to write about their story?
I had an idea, oh gosh, maybe about 5, 6 years ago that, hey, if I had the opportunity to write any Forgotten Realms story I wanted to, what would I want to write? And so what I did is I basically took a notebook and I started filling it with little notes to myself, small little maps, and basically said, all right, here's a corner of the realms that I know no one has ever detailed in very much depth at all. What could be here?
What can you tell the fans about the Spell Plague?
Well, the Spell Plague is, in some ways, it's the mechanism by which we move the Forgotten Realms from the 3rd edition world to the 4th edition world. It is a magical catastrophe that strikes the world in the year 1385, which is about 10 years after the time of the last mythal and the end of the 3rd edition novels and adventures and stories. The realms now is in the year 1479, so the Spell Plague is something that has happened almost 100 years ago. We did that pretty deliberately because we didn't really want the story of the Forgotten Realms in 4th edition to be the story of the Spell Plague.
Right.
We didn't want to write about a world that was undergoing its apocalypse in a way. We wanted to write about a world that's been changed but has now settled into its new state. I will tell a funny story.
Okay.
This is a bound galley copy.
Right.
I actually had the real hardbound in my hands just a couple of weeks ago, and I took it to the East Coast on vacation, and my mom looked at it and said, "Oh, is that for me?" And I said, "Well, okay, Mom, sure, it's for you."
Yes.
So that's why we don't have a real hardbound to show you quite here.
Awesome. Well, thank you for coming and talking to us about Shadowmage today.
My pleasure. Thanks for having me.
Thanks.
Wollpert is the brand manager for Magic Online at Wizards of the Coast, and he's here with me now on Radio Zer0 to talk about the Magic Online 3 launch. And this is a really tough time. You know, he's in meetings all day, and you know, he's got directors and VPs at his desk, and I'm like, hey, and presidents, and I'm like, hey, you gotta do this interview, and he's like, oh, I gotta do this interview real quick, and you guys hold on. So we appreciate you coming to the show. So tell us a little bit about, first off, for the people who aren't familiar, what is Magic Online, and what is Magic Online versus Magic Online 3?
So Magic Online is pretty simple. It's just the online version of everybody's favorite card game. It is strictly a transliteration, we call it, of the card game. So it's not like an arcade style game. It's really just, if you've ever played Magic on a table, it is the place to do it on a virtual table. That's what Magic Online is. Magic Online V3 is our latest version of the product. We've actually been offline for about a week previous to yesterday. We shut down the old version 2.5 about a week ago, and yesterday for the first time we turned on the new system to the public. Understandably there's some issues. Most of the ones that we found early were pretty minor, and we fixed them within minutes with hot patches and stuff. Didn't even bring the system down. One crept up yesterday around 3:30 that was a little more serious, and it had to do with people trying to join. It's the kind of stuff that you just don't find in a beta test or even a big stress test. Yesterday when there were 1,300, 1,500 people on, there were users trying to join the same chat room at the exact same time, and the system was trying to write the same bit of memory from those people, and it was crashing what's called FLS servers, frontline servers, and when that would happen, it would just boot a chunk of people off. Actually, the system was working like it should, because in the old system, when that happened, the entire unit would have gone down. But in this case, it was 30, 50 people getting booted off at once. There's about 7 or 8 of those FLSs. So anyway, they're working on a fix. Actually, they have a fix as of late last night, and they're testing and smoking right now, and it should be up within the next couple hours. This is just before lunchtime on what's today? Thursday.
Thursday.
It's all blurring together. Sorry.
Yeah. But we expect that there might be additional problems like this.
Yeah.
When this comes back up, you might find another one. You might find another one, and so this is not unexpected. That this is how a lot of MMOs have this problem. When you get a lot of people in, you find those things that you couldn't find otherwise, and it's part of the natural process of launching a product. Yeah,
definitely. Electronic games and the like always have some sort of rocky first couple weeks. And we expected, frankly, yesterday went, even with the problem we found, better than I thought. We have had some pretty disastrous Magic Online first day launches when we've tried to redo things in the past. And yesterday, I probably got a 6 or 7 on a scale of 1 to 10. Could have been better, definitely, but could have been way worse too. So.
And for the record, it wasn't planned to be launched till today.
Right, yeah.
And so yesterday was actually a day early, so by doing that, you actually guys did find a problem that sort of helps, something that you'd have to fix today otherwise, so you're sort of a little bit ahead of the game.
Yeah, we are, and it's a testament to our customers, because we actually turned it on, the fanaticism of our customers. We turned it on, didn't tell anybody. Kind of going for a soft launch strategy, and within, I think we turned it on at 12:13, and at 12:15 there was a purchase in the store, or maybe it was even 12:14. But there were people logging in right away, so obviously people were sitting there smashing the log on button as much as they could. So we kind of expected that, but but it was funny to see the word kind of spread.
So going forward, there's not as full-featured as you'd like initially. You want to get it stable, get everything working, and then what are kind of the priorities after that are going to be added?
Yeah, so what happened was yesterday we turned it on with just casual play, which means you can play with the cards you already own in decks that you can make or have built already. The big feature everybody loves on Magic Online is drafts, 8-man queues, and those we actually were close to turning them on yesterday right before the crash happened, because things were going so well in the morning. So assuming that the fix that they made last night works the way we think it will, and we don't find another problem at the level of the one we found yesterday, a draft should probably be on before the weekend. Now there are some other features that are missing as far as from a code standpoint that we haven't had time to catch up with yet, and that's multiplayer and leagues are the 2 big ones, and those are coming in the coming months.
I don't want to take any longer, so thanks, Wollpert, the brand manager from Magic Online. Thanks for coming on GRZ, and good luck with the rest of the launch.
No problem. Thanks for having me.
That does it for episode 31 of Gamer Radio Zero. I'd like to thank Blue for coming in and doing an interview of Rich Baker. I'd like to thank Rich Baker himself for coming in and talking about his book, and Worth Wollpert, who's very busy coming in and talking about Magic Online 3. Watch for next week and future weeks. We have a lot of good stuff coming up, a lot of good stuff about 4th edition, a lot of things about Magic the Gathering and Magic Online, and a bunch of other stuff, so stay tuned and we'll see you next week.